Enrichment. And again, I'm a minute or two early, but Holly Bear has been out here for probably at least 5 minutes, and she's been cruising around the peanuts. And the staff thought that Holly did such a fabulous job with her birthday present box. It was colorfully decorated and whatever. She's got another box, and she's wasting no time. PTZ driver, she's right by the cedar pile, just barely in the shade. And that's not a bad place to be if I was a bear today in the shade. It's been a little warm. A number of our bears have gone for a swim. And Holly Bear is wasting no time in getting what's in that box. And why do we do this? You think, well, why do we have a bear try to tear apart a corrugated box? Well, what if that was a rotten log or some rocks that she needed to overturn because she wanted to get ant hill for ant larvae, immature ants, or maybe a beehive that she knocked down? And no, she wouldn't be after the honey, but she would be after the immature bees. And a bear will withstand some bee stings, not so Arkansas. Arkansas is a long ways away for you kids here up on the deck, but Holly had help from volunteers to get her to the North American Bear Center. In fact, there's a lot of volunteers. Last week, too, have been working very hard at making this birthday day for our bears a success today. Holly was separated from her mother in 2013 by a wildfire, and a family picked her up in Arkansas and thought they were doing a good thing by trying to raise her in a family environment. And they certainly meant well, but that's not what you ever want to do with an orphaned cub. In fact, sometimes you don't even really know if it's an orphan cub or not. The mother may be in the area, you just don't see her. Nonetheless, the authorities found out about that and took the bear away, and Holly was sent to a rehab facility in Tennessee. When she was there in Tennessee, they determined she was not going to be able to be released into the wild, and we became aware of her situation, and we accepted Holly in December of 2013. When she came to us in late December, since she came to us during the holiday season, she's named after the holidays and holly berries, so she gets the name Holly Bear. She, shortly after arriving, she went right into hibernation, and she came out in April of 2014 from hibernation, and last year was her first year exploring these 2.5 beautifully wooded acres that is totally natural, except for obviously the pond and waterfalls. So our goal here at the North American Bear Center is to educate as best we can with our 4 captive bears in as close to a natural environment as we can provide them. We do provide the majority of their food, but there is food in the enclosure that is bear food, and in fact we probably will be planting additional bear foods in the enclosure this summer. Holly is still working at that box, and she's pretty much got it tore apart. And for those on the deck, you may be able to see that she picks and chooses what she wants. And we watch that very carefully as well as caregivers, because when they pick and choose the food they want and maybe leave some, it gives us an indication that their food preferences are changing. And people ask me, well, what do you mean by food preferences? Don't you just feed them all the same food? The answer is no. We have 4 bears here at the North American Bear Center. We have Honey Bear, who is 19 years of age, and she's a cinnamon-phased black bear. People always say, well, she's brown, so she must be a brown bear. Well, that's not really accurate. She's technically a cinnamon phase black bear, and black bears can come in more than the color black. They can come in cinnamon, which is a color brown, blonde, blue-gray, and white, just to name a few. We also have Ted Bear. He's a 18-year-old male. And we have an 8-year-old male by the name of Lucky. For those of you that tend to follow our bears, Ted, Lucky, and Honey, throughout the season, and you may have missed some news about Holly Bear, the bear we have down here now, we have determined that she is in estrus. So she has taken a fancy to our 8-year-old bear, Lucky. This is the first year she is in estrus. She's only 2. And it's not unusual for a well-fed, healthy 2-year-old female to go in estrus. We weren't sure if that was going to happen or not, and time would tell, and we were able to tell 2 days ago. And how did we tell? Through physical observation of Holly, as well as Lucky's behavior toward her. They are play partners, but the play turned into something different here a few days ago, and it was clear that we have now 2 females in estrus, Holly Bear and our 19-year-old female, Honey Bear. Honey Bear has never had cubs, and Honey Bear, the last week or so since she's been in estrus, has really taken a fancy toward Ted Bear, and Ted has reciprocated. But unfortunately, it never really happens, and it's a little bit more flirting than anything serious. But nonetheless, we do have 2 females in estrus, and it gives us a great opportunity to determine change in behavior during the month of June. June is the mating season for black bears, and they give birth to cubs in January, and so in this case it would be January of 2016. We do not anticipate having any cubs here in the Bear Center, but that is what would be happening in the wild. In the wild right now, it is mating season is in full bloom, shall we say, and the cubs from that mating season will be born in January of 2016. I want to give a quick rundown of our birthday activities that happened this morning for those of you that may have missed it, especially on the West Coast, and people that it's earlier in the day and 11 o'clock in the morning was way too early for you to get up because, of course, this broadcast is worldwide. Many of our European listeners, supporters, volunteers, and donors have probably in bed right now, but our West Coast people, I know it's only maybe 1, 2, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we had the duck race. We had Ted, Lucky, Honey, Holly, and Mr. Gator. Yes, we had a gator in the pond, and Holly won the duck race. We had interns challenge our bear educator volunteers in dinner food preparation for our bears, bear dinner. And both presentations were exceptional and actually done very meticulously. The interns won that competition. The next competition was Ted Bear's vocalization. He does a grunt, kind of like this. Well, at least that's my interpretation. Dr. Lynn Rogers, the founder of this facility, was the judge of that contest, and he, after serious deliberation with the MC and Scott Edgett, our senior director, he called it a tie. Moving bear contest. The interns had to move Lucky from point A to point B, and the volunteers had to move Honey from point A to point B. Both bears moved, but you know, it's the month of June, and Lucky won out just by a little bit. Last but not least, the pie eating contest. Well, there was a lot of discussion about that pie eating contest, about the size of the pies, the utensils you could use. There were some participants thought it was unfair. Bottom line is it was a fair contest, And it was finally determined that Dr. Lynn Rogers ate the most pie. I want to thank everybody worldwide that participated in this fundraiser. It's an annual event. The human beings that participated, we take over the bear enclosure for less than an hour every year, and it's in the month of June to celebrate Black Bear's birthday. Nobody really wants to celebrate their birthday in January here in Ely when there's snow and cold, as well as the bears are in hibernation. So we celebrate in mid-June, and we want to thank everybody that participated. For those of you that were watching the camera about between 3 and 3:30 this afternoon, you saw some of us out there intently looking at the creek. And we had a little net out there, and one of our interns, there was a frog jumping around in there, and so we're going to determine what frog that is. So we haven't seen a frog actually in the pond. We don't put fish in the pond, and we don't put frogs in the pond, but we found one, so we're going to figure out what it is, and we'll be glad to tell you when we determine that. I have to say we couldn't tell for sure, so rather than guess, we're going to look it up for you. Holly Bear for the PTZ driver is near the creek, and actually right under me as we speak, and she may want to play with the hose. It looks like she's smelling a hose. We'll see what she does, because if she does, we'll have to redirect her, shall we say. Holly is just demonstrating her curiosity. She is walking in the places where we, between 3 and 3:30, were walking. She is smelling some of the volunteers that were in the area. Her nose is to the ground, and she's smelling us is what really is she doing. People always ask, well, how good can they smell? Very good. Far better than humans. In fact, it has been determined that actually a black bear's nose is better than a bloodhound's. Holly Bear has moved to the clover patch, and she's obviously found something of interest over there. I want to thank everybody that came to the Bear Center today for our festivities, as well as those that did not participate nor get here in time. There are plenty of additional things to do here in Ely, Minnesota. We are open today until 6 p.m. If you're interested in other wildlife, you might go to the other end of town. We are 1 mile west of downtown Ely. You might want to go east of Ely by about a half a mile, and you will find the International Wolf Center. They have a pack of wolves on display, and they have a lot of additional information about wolves and wolf information for you. Thank you very much, and we'll be back on mic tomorrow, Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you very much.